look at learning from history.
Memories. Memories of retired teacher Bill Denler and others. Pictures of history. Newspaper clippings, an old magazine cover. An official NASA crew photograph of 7 very brave people, including one, Krista McCullough, who was to become the first teacher in space. All lost in an instant. Memories of a young reporter and photographer who were expecting to cover a much different story that day.
I'm Gary Shapiro at Cape Canaveral.
We were there to do a happy story on 12 elementary school students and teachers from Boulder County
T-10.
who had won a contest to attend a shuttle launch.
Oh my God!
To witness history.
And liftoff.
Little did they know how true that would be.
Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Oh my God, look at that! Oh my gosh!
The kids who watched Challenger explode that day are in their 50s now. Many have kids of their own. I recently caught up with 3 of them on Zoom to talk about being a kid who had to grow up fast. John Weller is a critically acclaimed photographer and filmmaker now.
And, you know, somebody said, I can't remember exactly who, said that they're all dead. And, you know, I was in 6th grade, and that didn't really connect for me emotionally, until we got back out of that area.
Like John, that it changed the course of my life. I think in my engineering career, I found myself kind of gravitating towards working on safety-related systems.
And Bobby Winterowd, who became an engineer for Lockheed Martin, was the only girl on the trip back in 1986. She says going through such a traumatic experience together created a bond that has lasted all these years.
Part of you, and we are always going to be the shuttle kids. Like, it's not a, it's not a negative. It's what we've turned it into.
Felt like I was losing people, that I actually knew, not just figures in the news.
I also recently visited on Zoom with Dr. Alan Stern, a planetary scientist from Boulder, who as a young CU graduate was leading an experiment to study Halley's Comet. A satellite designed at CU called Spartan Halley was on board the shuttle. It was also lost that day. Stern says as horrible as the Challenger explosion was, it taught us invaluable lessons about life, the dangers of space exploration, and how to make it safer.
But they certainly did not die in vain. The Challenger was kind of a crucible that took us to this much better space future that we have today.
We're go for a main engine start.
The shuttle kids got to go back to Cape Canaveral 2 years after the tragedy.
3, 2.
When NASA kicked off its Return to Space program with the launch of the shuttle Discovery. Again, we went with them.
Going back, I can't even describe how much it meant, because it did bring everything full circle, and it did give us that happy ending we didn't get the first time around.
Finally, happy memories. With photographer Matty Sotelo, Gary Shapiro, 9 News.
Alan Stern told Gary that unlike the Challenger days when the government ran every part of the space program, now 70% of it is in the hands of commercial companies. He says the diversity is a good thing. That's led to more scientific advances, especially in communications and weather forecasting, and has added some $600 billion a year to the global economy.